market traded notes. Notes, that's a whole nother world. So you want to make $1 at a 15-cent note, because the bank has to get rid of the notes. They can't do 9 times of what they lent you. If they lend you $1, they now have 9 times that on their books. So, but the law, the rules under GAAP says you cannot do that if you have too many toxic loans on your books. So they say, we got to get that off. It's to stop keeping us from doing a lot of money here. So they will sell that to you, credit card debt, 3 cents on the dollar.
Damn.
So you go and spend for $300, you get $1 million worth of debt from the bank or a debt broker. Go look out online and just look up debt broker. So you go buy the debt, you buy the note. Anything is a note, right? The dollar's a note. It's a loan.
Yeah.
Right? Any loan, you have a note, a car note, house note.
Right.
So when you do that, now you own the debt that people are not paying. But now they're not performing, so they only worth 3 cents. But if you go in and make it performing, now guess what? Now it's worth the full value. So I could go in, I could say, you know what? I own your debt. You know what? Band man, I own your debt.
Yeah.
You owe me $100,000. I'd have bought $1 million for $300. You owe me $100,000. You know what I'll do for you? Since I own it, I could throw it in the trash if I want, but Merry Christmas. I'm calling you not to do you harm. I'm going to help you. I'm going to erase all negatives off of your credit. You do that? Yes. And you know what I'm going to do? You owed me $100,000. Now I'm going to cut that into $50,000. Would you like that? Yes. You know what else I'm going to do for you? Mm-hmm. You was paying me $5,000 a month, $6,000, right? I have it right here. Yeah. Can you pay me $600 a month? And I'm gonna do all of this for you. But the only thing is you must pay on time that $600 every month for 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
I can do that. If they pay 6 months, some banks are 6 months, some banks are 8 months. I know banking. Once they pay on time, now you can take that $50,000 and go to the bank and say, I have a performing debt, and I need you to lend me 75% of whatever that's worth right now. The bank will say, how would you like that?
Damn, so just like that.
Just like that.
Damn.
That's what they call performing non-performing debt. That's
damn, that's crazy. I never knew this.
Why do you think the people do debt collectors? They start debt collecting companies?
Yeah.
Why do you think they become multimillionaires overnight? Because they go in, they collecting the debt from them, cutting it in half. And if I do that, if I got $1 million worth of debt for $300, right?
Yeah.
If I cut that in half and make that same deal with everybody and make it performing debt, I just made like $500,000 worth of positive debt. That means I got $300, I got $500,000. They're gonna lend me 75% of $500,000.
Damn.
Right now. And then what I'm gonna do with that? I'm gonna go buy more debt. And I'm gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
So overnight, I'm gonna be a multi-millionaire. And then once I do that, I'm gonna go to the next level and I'm gonna buy house debt. I'm gonna buy the note. I'm gonna be the bank. So if I go in and I say, I'm gonna buy, but so you gotta have good money to do that.
Yeah.
That's why you step it up. So now you got some good money. You go in and say, I wanna buy 16 homes from the bank. They're not paying. So if you buy that much, that costs you maybe about $100 million. But you go in, you buying it for 30 cents on the dollar. You go in and buy the debt from the bank. Once I get rid of 75% of it, I can say, listen, you flippers out there, y'all looking for inventory, right? Yeah, we need inventory. I'm giving you this house for 75 cents on the dollar. They're gonna kick your door down, give you your firstborn.
All right.
But you guess what? You paid 30 cents on the dollar for it. So you made 10, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. You just made 45 cents on the dollar right back to you. Now you times that by 16 homes at $500,000. It may seem a little technical, but once you start doing it, let's do one house. Let's do. If they bought those houses, you paid off the debt, you still got 25 houses to yourself, free and clear.
Damn.
So now you take one house at $500,000, you own it. Most people gonna sell it for $500,000. They're like, I only paid, 40 cents, 30 cents on the dollar. I only paid, 30, 60, 90, 100, 10, 20, $120,000 for a house worth $500,000.
Right.
But most people say, oh man, I'm selling that. I'm a banker. It's the numbers game. So you say, you want to buy the house? I'll give you a 30-year mortgage. So you're going to wind up paying me $2 million in 30 years, compound interest.
Right.
So why would I sell it? So I keep it and I say, I have a note. Remember the note?
Yeah.
I got a note for 30 years, a 30-year note. They're going to say, sweet, so I don't have to go get a loan. No, I'm the bank. So now you go in and now you own the house. You get a house to them for 30-year mortgage. That's what the bank does. If they make 6 months or 8 months payments on that house straight, that's performing note. Now you go to the bank and say, I got $2 million that I'm gonna get from them in 30 years. I got a 30-year note. It's valued at $500,000, plus the house itself has what, $300,000 equity? The bank is gonna flip its lid like, ooh, you speak Latin.
Right.
Somebody done taught you Latin.
Yeah.
See, because it's private and public. I'm teaching private right now.
Damn. Yeah.
So now you could go to the bank and say, I want to borrow 75% of this $2 million because they've been paying on time for 8 months. It's performing debt. I want to borrow 75% of that. They're going to say, when would you like it? Now. That means you're going to borrow $1.5 million off a house that's worth $500,000. You're going to borrow $1.5 million times 25.
Right. Now I get it. Yeah.
Now what you going to do, you're going to take that and buy more notes.
Damn.
You pushing $1 billion, brother, in 2-3 years.
No, for sure.
Why you think the bank is so rich? It's just paper. We got to learn how to move paper. Paper. All this business that we doing. We need to be sitting on the beach talking about, I want to buy, what kind of paper you got? You got mortgage debt? Okay, I want to buy, give me, $500 million of that. Okay, $500 million?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get $500 million. The more debt you buy, the cheaper it gets. So you be buying houses out in California that's worth $1 million, but the bank got to get rid of it. You buying that for like 40 cents on the dollar because they got to get rid of it. The people are not paying. The bank cannot make that money if they have that debt that's not paying. That's called non-performing debt.
Right.
So first of all, notes. That's where the money is. I manage $20.2 billion under management. Market traded notes, non-performing notes.
Damn.
Right?
Yeah.
So if I can do it, anybody can do it. They just have to know how to do it. So back to your question, that's just one way of making that money. But the way to get the money to do it, I say, Mr. Whitehead, how am I going to get $100 million? The same way you went out and got $25,000 from Chase. What'd you do? You asked for some money. You went to the bank and asked for some money, right?
Right.
But you went in looking with a small mentality. You didn't go in and say to an investor, oh, I don't want 25,000, I want 25 million. Can you just give me some money? So you build your corporation up to it has value, make it look really good. Then you go in with this stock certificate that they give you inside this book for $125, and you say, I have this And then I have what they call a pitch deck.
Okay.
See, a business plan, everybody's talking a business plan. That's because they're rookies, right?
Right.
Business plan is if you have 2 years in business. You've done 2 years of taxes, right? But you haven't had 2 years of taxes, so you go in and getting that baby money. But a summary is a summation when you haven't had 2 years of taxes. But when you're doing this kind of raise stuff with this, they don't care nothing about your credit. And this ain't a debt. You don't owe it. You borrow $1 million from the bank. At 10% interest, now you owe the bank $1,100,000 at 10% interest. Not this. There's no interest unless you do interest. You could do two things. You could do equity or you could do interest. You'll say, I'm going to go in, let's say I'm going to do 144 stock. I want to raise $50 million to buy this apartment complex. You have what they call a private placement memorandum. Plus this, that's $128, $25. Private placement memorandum says, this is what we do. This is how we do it. And we're going to abide by every rule that we're supposed to that's applicable to us. And sign right here, you can lose all your money just like Google, just like Yahoo, just like any of them. If Amazon, you invest in Amazon or even Bitcoin.
Yeah.
If Bitcoin crash, your money's gone. But if Amazon crash, your money's gone because you don't control it. The person that's managing the Amazon, if they crash and you lose your money, do you get any of Amazon's cars? Do you get any of the assets? Do you get any of their money? Where the money went? Just disappeared? Because the market went down, you lost your money, they still have that money.
Damn.
And this ain't a debt. So if you borrowed $1 million from the bank at 1.2 million, now the next level is you go in and raise funds, right? That ain't a debt. So you can go pay off that 1.1 million with this. The money that you raised, you could pay off that loan and you don't have no debt. Now your company is debt free.
Damn.
Who's telling us that? Nobody.
That's crazy. That's deep.
Hey.
That's deep.
This thing here is almost a license to print money, but they don't tell you that.